Hey everyone, my name is Jen Polson and I'm excited to be here. Just gonna get situated here for a second. Sitting at my new kitchen table. I should show it to you. It's pretty cool. It's got this, I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, it's got it's kind of a rustic look. It's got the really cool kind of metal stripe. It's not a stripe, but I don't know what to call it. Anyway, so I'm sitting here in my new house. We're still in the middle of unpacking and in the middle of, just trying to find a place for everything, and seems like I'm in the constant state of decluttering lately, which is good. We always want to be decluttering our space, our minds, our hearts, getting rid of what we don't need, what's not serving us anymore. So welcome everybody. Hello. If you're just hopping on, just a quick introduction. My name is Jen Polson. I am an energy coach. And I am proud to say that is not, I'm not a typical type of coach. And I love that about what I do. And if you've worked with me before, you may understand what I'm talking about. If you haven't, then you'll just have to find out, shoot me an email, reach out to me, and we can talk about what I do. But in the meantime, hey everybody, thanks for all the love. All right. In the meantime, I want to talk to you about digging deep and what that means. And I was thinking as I was preparing for this morning, I was thinking about the title, and I have one client who totally cracks me up because she'll call me up and she's like, Jen, I'm ready for an emotional root canal. And I'm like, oh, do you have to call it that? She's like, but it's true. You get in there, you get it done, and you're out of there. And I feel so much better. And so anyway, I like to think of it as a more joyful process, what I do. But I do want to talk about digging deep today and what that means. And I want to share an experience that I had recently with a really great client of mine. She came to me wanting to, just up-level her life, her relationships, her business, and some of the habits that she wants to change in her life. But the biggest problem was that she knew what she wanted to do, but didn't know how to do it, or didn't know how to make herself do it, or have the motivation. And one of the issues that we were working on was procrastination. And she has been procrastinating some pretty important projects that she really needs to get done. And it was just so overwhelming and really just really self-defeating. And she didn't feel good about herself. She just, and you know how that is, like when you put stuff off and you keep putting stuff off, it gets more difficult and more difficult to go there, to get it done. But it's interesting because as we were talking this morning, I just started asking her a few questions. What were some of the family patterns that you grew up in? Did you see the same pattern in your parents? Did you see it in your grandparents? Because she was able to accomplish really great things in other areas of her life, but this one particular thing which just really had her stuck. And it turns out that her parents had a similar issue, and she had even been helping her parents with that issue, and but couldn't seem to make herself take a hold of this project. And so one of the things that I do in my coaching is I tune into where the blocks have started. And one really important thing to realize and to recognize about ourselves is sometimes the blocks that we have aren't from us. sometimes they're generational blocks that have been passed down, generation after generation after generation. And I recently got a book. It's called Healing Your DNA. I think that's what it's called. And it actually gives scientific research about how they are identifying certain personality traits, certain habits, certain mindset, attitudes and things like that that they can trace, that are passed down through the generations because of different traumatic experiences. And it's fascinating. And to me, I mean, that was part of my training, but to see that there's science coming out around this, that it's not just woo-woo, as some people call it, it's an actual scientific truth that things get passed down generation after generation. And so one of the things that I talked about with this client is how far back it went in on her mom's side and her dad's side. And what we found out is that it went back very, very far. And it was interesting because what she was feeling, like the heaviness of why can't I make myself do this, was not just her. It wasn't her being lazy. It wasn't her being unmotivated. There was a real force, that had been affecting her ability to move forward with this. And what I love is that, we kind of talked about, how did your parents cope with this kind of overwhelm? And what she realized was, what we realized together was that there was this fear of like facing things, this fear of just dealing with what's in front of you. And so her symptom was procrastination, but what she saw in other family members was there was some alcohol, some drug addiction, things that numb us to not have to feel the emotions or take the action or face the fear of just like getting started on a project. So you have all of these different parts all contributing to what's going on inside of you. And so what we found out is that what we did was we were able to release the energy, okay, because our beliefs, our thoughts, our actions, our cells, they all have energy, and they hold on to energy. Our cells do. Our brains, hold on to that thought energy. And what we were able to do was release the energy of that pattern that had gone so far back, both on her mom's side and her dad's side. And you may not understand, if you're new to this, you may not understand exactly what that means, but don't worry about that right now. Just try and absorb what you can, and just have an open heart to just to experience whatever awakening that you can in this moment. But so we worked on clearing all of those generational blocks, okay, so that what happens when we do that is it frees you up to take the action, because you don't have all of this, everybody else's junk, like piled on top of your belief system and your emotions and your thoughts. So the next thing we did, and let me just say that releasing the generational patterns in the work that I do is probably the most powerful part of the work that we do. And I've noticed that people will feel like physically lighter. They'll feel like that physical burden lifted from them when we do this kind of work. And the amazing thing too is that it opens you up to feeling that divine connection. Because when you're weighed down by all of that emotional junk, it really inhibits your ability to feel connected to God and to feel connected to your who you really are. okay? Because she was thinking, you know, here she's procrastinating, that this is something wrong with her, that this was a weakness, that this is who she was. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. She's not her procrastination. She is not her, you know, fear of facing what's in front of her. That's not who she is. That's just an energetic block, and we can release that. So, hey, you guys, thank you so much for being here, everybody. Okay, so the next part of what we were able to work on was going back to, I just asked her a simple question, like, when is the first time that you felt like you couldn't, it wasn't safe to face something, and immediately, like, she thought about that for a second, and I immediately got an intuitive, like, number in my head, and she got a number, and the numbers were the same. So the number was age 3. So she had some experiences at age 3 where she didn't feel like she could speak up. She didn't feel like she could say how she felt. You know, and you think about a little 3-year-old, you know, they want to please their parents. They don't want to cause problems. They don't want to, you know, rock the boat. They don't want their parents mad at them. And so it's really a typical response for a 3-year-old, instead of speaking up about something that was uncomfortable or scary, to just not say anything, and then and kind of not deal with the emotions of it. And so when an experience like that happens at such a young age, there's a lot of information that gets trapped in our subconscious belief system, because our conscious brain at 3 years old can't process it. So it goes into the subconscious and kind of hides out there until we're adults. And then we have these things like procrastination that show up, and you know, whatever other things in your life that, you know, you want to overcome. And so we were able to go through a little process where we actually rewired the belief system, and where she was able to believe and that it was okay. It's safe to face things. It's safe to speak up. It's safe to be heard. It's safe to be seen. It's and by the end of the session, oh my gosh, like, her tone of voice had changed. You could tell that her confidence had just, like, totally up-leveled, and her freedom to be able to make a different choice is the biggest gift. Because when we're carrying around all of that heavy emotional stuff, it's like it takes our freedom away to choose something, to choose the best things for ourselves. And so, you know, that is one of the biggest blessings of being able to dig deep. And it doesn't have to be a scary process. It doesn't have to, you don't have to relive all of your childhood junk, you know. We really don't need to do that. We can just take a few minutes to feel the emotions, let it process, take a big breath, and release that. And what happens to you is that it changes you. It changes the way you interact with people. It changes the way you feel about yourself. It changes what you're capable of. And I just get so excited when I talk about it and think about it. And when I see the changes that happen with my clients, it's like, I don't know, it's better than Christmas morning, because they are finding the truth about who they are, and then being able to take action. Okay, so I did want to give an oil recommendation. If you are in this process of trying to uncover, you know, what those deep beliefs are that are holding you back, And when I say that, I mean, I want you to know that it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to take a long time. You know, that's why I do what I do. Because I used to do this kind of work the slow boat way. I used to read the self-help books. I used to go to seminars. I used to, you know, listen to, you know, whatever, tapes back in the day when I started this. It was cassette tapes, right? And I always felt like I was spinning my wheels. I never felt like anything really got resolved. I would feel better for a little while, and then I'd go back to my old way of being or my old way of feeling. And what I didn't understand at the time was because I was only working with the conscious brain. And it's the subconscious belief system that's running our lives, you guys. It's running 95% of what's going on in our lives. And so if you have a lot of stuff that feels messy, it's not because you're a mess, it's because your subconscious just needs to upgrade. It needs an upgrade. Okay, so my oil recommendation is black pepper. Okay, black pepper is a really great oil for unmasking the truth. And when I tell my clients to use black pepper, I reassure them that this unmasking process is a joyful process. You know, a lot of times we think about, you know, taking a mask off and there's something yucky underneath that mask or whatever, because it like looks good on the outside, but underneath it's not so great. That's not what we're talking about here. What we're doing is unmasking the stuff that's not great to get down to the light and the love and the divine truth about who you are. Everyone take a big breath. Okay, so where would you put black pepper? You could put black pepper just over your heart. You could put it on your wrists. You could put it right here. This spot, it's called your third eye. It represents your intuition. And our intuition gets blocked a lot when we're carrying a lot of emotional junk around. And so we can unmask what those blocks are, and black pepper can help you with that. All right, I want to address some of the, let's see, was there a question? I was kind of scrolling through here. Oh my gosh, there's so many people on. All right. Oh, thank you for the amazing comments, you guys. Okay, Brandy says, how many cares one loses when one decides not to be something but to be someone? Oh, quote. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so does anyone have any questions for me while we're you know, talking about this? It's kind of it's a pretty deep subject. You guys can handle it. But any questions on that? Or any questions about anything else? Okay, so if you just joined us, we just talked about how to dig deep, what the benefits of changing our. Oh, my son just called me. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but anyway, he obviously isn't on Facebook Live watching me right now. Anyway, so we've been talking about how to get down to those change that subconscious belief system. Okay, what emotionally is black pepper good for? Oh gosh, I should have brought my book with me, and I don't have it right now. And off the top of my head, I don't know, but you know what I'm going to do? I am going to post, I'm going to look that up as soon as I get off and post it in the comments. So thank you for that question. And now I'll get to learn that in a more concrete way and be able to remember it. Okay, Tracy says, how to help others see it can be a faster process to move forward. That is a great question, because how many times, you know, do we watch someone struggle and realize, and we can see, oh my gosh, you know, there's this option, there's that option, this would bring you some freedom. The truth is that people are going to be ready when they're ready. And the best thing that you can do is work on your own stuff. Be that example. Make the changes inside of you, because when you do that, it has a ripple effect and it will affect everyone around you. And those that, are ready will like be drawn to you. And those who aren't, they may just gracefully drop out of your life for a while or just be a little more quiet. But when they're ready, they'll come back, because they'll remember how they feel around you, and that authenticity and your light. Your personal light has an amazing power, and so trust that. And then also, offer suggestions, but in a really loving way, detached from the outcome. So if they choose no, like, that's not about you, okay? But you just keep working on your own stuff. That's the biggest gift we can give everyone around us. Okay. Christine says, how to protect my emotions, energies, and feelings from others. Okay, so that's a great idea. We talk about that a lot. Melaleuca, lemongrass, oregano, you can put that in a roller bottle with some fractionated coconut oil. And what that does is it helps release some of the stuff that you've taken on from other people. And then it also helps your energetic boundaries, so that you can be aware that people, are struggling or whatever, but you're not absorbing that struggle. And then for the what do you call it? For the generational heaviness, white fur and Douglas fir are great. And when you feel like you're carrying something, that's generational and passed down, and you want to try and work on that on your own, I mean, definitely, try that white fir and the Douglas fir oil, and just tune into your body and feel like where you're feeling that heaviness. We don't often do that enough, is tune into where we're feeling the heaviness. So for me, a lot of times it's like right in my gut, like my solar plexus above my belly button. A lot of times it's in my throat, because there's a lot of generational stuff around speaking up, in my family lines, and then sometimes you can feel it in your shoulders. So just pay attention to where you're feeling it in your body. Okay, let's see. All right. Oh, I've got some great comments from some of my clients. Dawn, thank you. Let's see, Brandy, working on all the layers of junk and trusting that all things work together for our good, staying open to abundance and trusting it. How do I know if the emotions I'm experiencing are mine or those around me? That is a great question. First of all, you can ask, just close your eyes for a second and just ask, is this mine or is this theirs? Is this someone else's? If you know how to muscle test, that's a really great way to do that. The other thing is a good indication is if you're feeling off and it doesn't make any sense, there's no reason I should feel, depressed or overwhelmed or out of it. That's a really good indication that you've picked up on somebody else's emotional junk. So just make sure you use your Melaleuca, lemongrass, oregano, and take some breaths and be willing to release that. Okay. All right. What is a great combo for high vibration and joy I want to make for my leaders for this week training? This is right on target. Okay. Let's see. Well, I would definitely, if you have a training that you're giving, I would definitely get everybody to put Melaleuca on, like first thing, you know. So we want to just you want to release all the emotional junk that they've brought with them into the training, right? And then also what Melaleuca does is set up those emotional boundaries so that as they're receiving the training, they're not picking up on other people's fear. This is one thing that happens when I go to like other coaches, like non-energy coaches, like a business training. I can feel everybody's fear, you know, that's coming up as we're being taught. I mean, I can feel my own fear, but then I can feel everybody else's and their victim stories, and I'm just aware of all of it. And so it's really important to keep that Melaleuca on so that you can be aware of it and help if that's your place to help, but not absorb. And then let's see. I would like frankincense and wild orange are like so high vibration together. I call that that divine abundance combination. And also like wintergreen is a great one too, because it helps you like release and surrender what's not yours. You could add some of that into there. Let's see. I love bergamot as well. That's the oil of self-love. And most people have an issue with loving themselves. Most people have an issue with feeling like they're not enough. And so bergamot is an amazing one to just help connect you to feeling that. And you guys, if you're using your oils and you're not feeling the results, just realize that there's probably something deeper that an energy session could really help with. Okay, so it's like energy work is not the end all, you know, it's a tool. Essential oils are not the end all for everything. It's not the magic solution for everything. It's a really powerful tool. And so when you're using all the tools that you have together, then it propels you like forward in amazing ways. Okay, let's see. Okay, oh, Robin, awesome. There's one of my clients doing her homework. Love to hear that. So, okay, all right, cool. Thanks you guys so much for being on here. Let's just do a quick little stress relief breathing exercise. So just breathe in for breathe in for 3 seconds. Hold it for a couple seconds. And then breathe out for a few seconds. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in for 3 seconds. Hold it for a couple seconds. And then breathe out. Okay? And I want you guys to say to yourselves today, I am enough. I am lovable. I am worthy and deserving of unconditional love. Say those 3 things to yourself today. Say it multiple times. I am enough, I am lovable, and I am worthy of unconditional love. When you start to believe these things about yourself, then you are going to be able to give others, you know, that love, that patience, that light that you have to share. So take one more big breath. Let's just clear any fear, worry, and doubt about who you are, what your purpose is, what your light is. Just let all that go. All right. Thanks you guys so much for being here. It's always a blessing for me. and it's humbling to see how many people are on, and that grows every week, and I really appreciate that. So I love you. If you have any questions, any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My website is jenpolson.com. You can email us at admin@jenpolson.com. You can you can find out about our coaching programs on my website. Remember, I've got my live summit coming up in Salt Lake in just a few weeks, September 6th. Super excited about that. And I would love to have you there. We have some more rooms, so hurry and check that out. There's a banner at the top of my website, and I would love to have you there. I've got some really amazing surprises for everyone. So if you haven't checked that out yet, check it out. All right, you guys, thank you for being here. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.